Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky and they all look just the same.
Suburbia originated in Europe in the 19th century when cities like London and Manchester began expanding outwards, thus creating sub-communities which surrounded the city. Australia and the United States were the next countries to follow this pattern. The outward sprawl, according to historian Graham Davison, was the result of four ideologies: evangelicalism, sanitarianism, romanticism, and class segregation. Suburbia in the United States really took off following World War II. William Lovett applied techniques of mass production from the war to construction when he set out to create the largest planned living community in the U.S. After purchasing farmland in Long Island, New York in 1947, William Lovett split up the process of building a home into 27 steps. From there, Lovett hired 27 different teams, each having a certain step in the process. Williams' team became so efficient they were able to build 36 houses a day. This assembly line made the houses extremely affordable and made owning a house often cheaper than renting an apartment in the city. Each house had 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and no basement. The kitchen was located in the back of the house so parents could more easily keep an eye on their children. Houses came with a white picket fence, green grasses, and new appliances. The original Levittown houses became for sale in March of 1947, and 1,400 homes were purchased within 3 hours. Eventually, 3 Levittown houses were built in New York, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, and were recreated for generations to come.
5 years ago, this was a vast checkerboard of potato farms on New York's Long Island. Today, a community of 60,000 persons living in 15,000 homes, all built by one firm. This is Levittown, one of the most remarkable housing developments ever conceived.
Suburbia, the middle ground between nature's beauty and civilization's conveniences, has been viewed as the promised land by millions of Americans over the last several generations. Thousands of Americans moved to the suburbs because it was cheaper and they felt like they achieved the American dream by owning their own home. Suburbs were called bedroom communities and was one of the leading causes of the baby boom. Each community was like its own little town with schools, churches, parks, and were seen as the new glamorous countryside. Suburbs created the illusion of a perfect traditional family and strongly encouraged women to leave the workforce in order to return home and take care of their children. Commuting to and from work became necessary, so improved roads and railway transportation became the new form of travel. Shopping malls, grocery stores, movie theaters, community pools, motels, and fast food restaurants were all generated into what they resemble today because of suburbia. Victor Gruen pioneered the design of the shopping mall. Gruen's role in creating what sociologists call a third place, safe, natural public spaces outside of one's home or work that, in Gruen's words, provide the needed place and opportunity for participation in modern community life that the ancient Greek agora, the medieval marketplace, and our own town squares provided in the past. The inspiration for the shopping mall is in fact the town center of Vienna. Gruen, an Australian Jewish architect born, immigrated to New York with $8 in his pocket, and when he designed the first enclosed shopping centers in the mid-1950s, he envisioned a communal gathering like the one he knew back home, with a lively mix of commerce, art, and entertainment. The central point in understanding Gruen is that shopping was a means to a greater good and not an end in itself. Shopping was part of, created a setting for, and could subsidize a diverse community realm within the older city and among its newer suburbs. Commerce, in effect, could drive urban culture. Gruen believed that any negative effects of retailing and consumer culture would be migrated by his socially minded design approach. In fact, shopping could be a form of productive modern planning. Department stores and large grocery centers were created to make shopping more convenient for homeowners. Recreation centers and movie theaters brought entertainment to both parents and children. Schools were within walking distance, and many communities were designed so that no children would have to cross a busy intersection on their way to school. Motels were built for travelers, and fast food restaurants added to the convenient lifestyle. McDonald's was created during this era, and using an assembly line method was able to sell hamburgers for just 50 cents a piece. Suburban living advertised portable air conditioning, washing machines, dishwashers, and many other household items that we take for granted today. It was also a time for advertising where many brands became more well-known. Commercials would depict suburbia family ideals to help sell their products. There were many problems caused from suburban living. Originally, suburbia was only built for Caucasians, which further encouraged the racial discrimination of the time. Additionally, separated single land use made Americans more reliant on automobiles. Since work and shopping was farther away, people became dependent on their cars. Most suburbias had similarly priced houses, thus separating those of different income levels. Wealthy communities would not interact with those from lower classes and vice versa because everything was separated. Today, most communities are still affected by separated income levels. Today, designers are becoming much more environmentally conscious and are creating more sustainable communities. The goal is to inspire these countries to create sustainable communities that are built around mass transit stations and mixed homes and businesses so that people can walk to most services while still giving people the space they desire. A new type of house has plagued American architecture, and this is the McMansion. It is the most reviled form of architecture, built with non-traditional materials, and they're built without consideration for the grammar of design.